Tina Weller, the Serene Stamper, and welcome to my stamping studio. The technique that I'm going to demonstrate for you today features one of Stampin' Up's most popular stamp sets of all time, Lovely as a Tree. This stamp set is a must-have for your collection, and it's classic. It works beautifully no matter the occasion or the season, and today we are going to use it for a Christmas card. The technique that I'm going to demonstrate is actually two techniques rolled into one, the spotlighting technique and the heat embossing technique. So I'm calling it the spotlight embossing technique. It's very easy and everyone who does it is wowed, and I hope you will be too. So let's get started. This is the Lovely as a Tree stamp set, and for this card we're going to use our row of trees. I also have a piece of Midnight Muse cardstock. This is an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock that I've cut down at 4 1/4, simply so that I can have the card open this way. And I have a piece of Whisper White cardstock that I have cut at 4 by 5 1/4 so that it mats perfectly on top of the card. And then I have a piece of scrap Whisper White, which we'll also be stamping on. Taking my Midnight Muse ink pad, I'm going to ink up my trees really well. Sometimes before I stamp on my card, I like to stamp on our grid sheets first, just to make sure my stamp is well inked and I can see if it's missing ink anywhere. So I just know where to really focus on getting that ink before I stamp it directly onto my cardstock. And I push down and I just hold my stamps just a couple extra seconds so that the ink can really soak into the cardstock. Almost beautiful, just like it is. I'm also going to stamp my sentiment while I have my blue ink out, and I'm using the Christmas greetings from the special season stamp set. And in case you're wondering about the different cases, our cases used to come in the clear cases once upon a time, and now all of our Stampin' Up kits come like this. And I'm going to take my Christmas greetings and stamp it up in my Midnight Muse and just stamp it right on the top, just like this. And we're going to set that aside for just a second. For the next step, I need to clean this stamp so that I get all the blue ink off. So this is our Stampin' Scrub and our Stampin' Mist. And this side has little raindrops on it and a little sun symbol over here, so you know that this is your wet side and this is your dry side. So all I do is I rub it so that that Stampin' Mist can get at it, and there is conditioner in the Stampin' Mist so that it keeps your rubber stamps from going brittle and hard over time. And now I'm drying it off, and now it's clean and ready to go into the next color. I'm now taking my Versamark ink pad. This is a clear, sticky ink. It's like a pigment ink so that our embossing powder will stick to it. So I'm inking it up very well. And I'm going to stamp it on a piece of Whisper White cardstock. I'm now sprinkling on some white embossing powder. I'm going to heat this up with my heat tool. So I know it's hard to tell with the camera, but the trees are now embossed with white, and I have a piece of our Stampin' Sponge that I cut up, and I'm going to go back to the Midnight Muse. This is the Emboss Resist. So actually there's 3 techniques in this. There's heat embossing, Emboss Resist, and spotlighting. So all I'm doing is I'm rubbing my ink right over top of those trees. And where I've embossed is actually going to resist the ink that I'm putting over top of it. You can go as light or as dark as you like. I'm going to go a little bit dark. It's amazing what you can do with a piece of sponge, hey? I've got a piece of paper towel that I've wet, and I'm just going to wipe off the ink that is on the trees, and you can see how that white starts to pop out. Isn't that cool? So that's an Emboss Resist ink. So my trees are now popping through with their white embossing powder. And I'm going to take my postage stamp and I'm going to punch out these 3 trees. So I'm just going to punch it in here. I'm going to punch this one down a little bit. And I'm going to punch this one up a little bit. Just like that. Then we bring our card base back, put a little bit of snail on these pieces, and now you're just going to line them up. And I find the best thing to do is to line up the trunks. So there's one piece. And that's also known as a spotlighting technique. If you stamp something and you've just kind of put something on top so that the color pops through, that's called spotlighting because we're spotlighting on that area. But we're going to do it 2 more times. And now the last piece. So there's my pieces on the card, and now I'm going to mount that onto my Midnight Muse cardstock. You don't want to go chintzy with your adhesive because you don't want your card front falling off. Alright. So it's almost perfect. It needs some dazzling diamond glitter for the snow. So I'm taking my 2-way glue pen and I'm pushing it down just to get the glue to start flowing. Now I have my dazzling diamond glitter and I'm just going to sprinkle that right on top. And there's my card. Isn't that pretty? I really love this technique and I hope you give it a try and I hope you enjoy it too. Thanks for watching and happy stamping!